Indonesia is a country in Southeast Asia and Oceania between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It consists of over 17,000 islands, including Sumatra, Java, Sulawesi, and parts of Borneo and New Guinea. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelagic state and the 14th largest country by area, at 1,904,569 square kilometers, 735,358 square miles. With over 275 million people, Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country and the most populous Muslim-majority country. Java, the world's most populous island, is home to more than half of the country's population. Indonesia is a presidential republic with an elected legislature. It has 38 provinces, of which 9 have special status. The country's capital, Jakarta, is the world's second most populous urban area. Indonesia shares land borders with Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and the eastern part of Malaysia, as well as maritime borders with Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, Australia, Palau, and India, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Despite its large population and densely populated regions, Indonesia has vast areas of wilderness that support one of the world's highest levels of biodiversity. The Indonesian archipelago has been a valuable region for trade since at least the 7th century, when Srivijaya and later Majapahit traded with entities from mainland China and the Indian subcontinent. The concept of Indonesia as a nation-state emerged in the early 20th century, culminating later in the proclamation of Indonesian independence in 1945. However, it was not until 1949 that the Dutch recognized Indonesia's sovereignty following an armed and diplomatic conflict between the two. Indonesia consists of thousands of distinct native ethnic and hundreds of linguistic groups, with Javanese being the largest. A shared identity has developed with the motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity, literally, many, yet one, defined by a national language, cultural diversity, religious pluralism within a Muslim-majority population. Indonesia is a regional power and is considered a middle power in global affairs. Malaysia is a country in Southeast Asia. The federal constitutional monarchy consists of 13 states and 3 federal territories, separated by the South China Sea into 2 regions, Peninsular Malaysia and Borneo's East Malaysia. Peninsular Malaysia shares a land and maritime border with Thailand and maritime borders with Singapore, Vietnam, and Indonesia. East Malaysia shares land and maritime borders with Brunei and Indonesia and a maritime border with the Philippines and Vietnam. Kuala Lumpur is the national capital, largest city, and the seat of the legislative branch of the federal government. The nearby planned capital of Putrajaya is the administrative capital, which represents the seat of both the executive branch and the judicial branch of the federal government. With a population of over 32 million, Malaysia is the world's 45th most populous country. Malaysia is one of 17 megadiverse countries, home to numerous endemic species. Malaysia has its origins in the Malay kingdoms which, from the 18th century, became subject to the British Empire, along with the British Straits Settlements Protectorate. Singapore was expelled from the Federation and became a separate independent country. The country is multi-ethnic and multicultural, which has a significant effect on its politics. About half the population is ethnically Malay, with minorities of Chinese, Indians, and indigenous peoples. The country's official language is Malaysian Malay, a standard form of the Malay language. English remains an active second language, while recognizing Islam as the country's established religion. The constitution grants freedom of religion to non-Muslims. The government is modeled on the Westminster parliamentary system and the legal system is based on common law. The head of state is an elected monarch, chosen from among the 9 state sultans every 5 years. The head of government is the Prime Minister. After independence, the Malaysian GDP grew at an average of 6.5% per annum for almost 50 years. The economy has traditionally been fueled by its natural resources but is expanding in the sectors of science, tourism, commerce, and medical tourism. My visits to Indonesia and Malaysia showed me an entirely different world than any other places I have visited. The natural beauty and the beauty of the people were completely different than any other region of the world. The people and nature were entirely integrated. Both countries were similar in this way. The kids followed me around and loved getting in front of the camera. My visits were very low-key compared to Europe, Japan, Taiwan, etc. Everyone enjoyed telling